Talk Radio.
Oh my goodness gracious, here we go again. We have a lot of things that are going on in ways that it shouldn't be going on. However, somebody did the nasty. And by that I mean they do not have a clue as to what they have really done or how far in the toilet everybody is. Basically, the people of the United States have a problem. Oh my goodness, cool hand Luke. Well, they say the checks are going to start coming out next week, about 3 weeks late or whatever. This is a serious problem, but people don't, the people who are in charge don't get it. The seriousness of what has transpired and is coming up is a real mother, and I decided to share some classified information with everybody to let you know what the ulterior motives are. Ah, boy. The bad part of this is what it really says about the conditions. Now, I titled this Comply or Die, and I couldn't figure out whether I ought to put a exclamation point on there, a gun shooting, or a question mark. It really was so I just left it alone. And I quoted a guy. He is one of the authors that I mentioned last show. I live in Manhattan at the moment. It feels like a tea kettle in which the water is starting to make rumbly noises. Anybody make tea out there in radio land? Oh boy, there's some questions and things that come up from that title, and one of them is simple: which is worse, a slow, torturous death, or a quick one? Think about that. Oh, ain't that lovely? The fear porn of, if you go out, shake hands, or sneeze, the virus will get you, is paranoid horse hockey. And, it's communicable. It is very contagious. But then they turn around and say, no vaccine for months. Maybe by next year is unacceptable. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. And this goes to something I'm going to define as well. Simply and factually, there is a direct question. If, I got this thing with red arrows, and it does everything but leap out of the page and go boo. If quinine doesn't work, exactly why is there a stockpile of it? Hello, Fed. What kind of horse shit you pulling? Further, just why is quinine not being sent out to everyone? Fox News had the guy on there. I think he's from France, if I'm not mistaken. Number one researcher in the country says it works. Now, I'm going to define some things that talk about what the structural problem is in terms of what's going on. Now, Trump has said drain the swamp. Okay, let's start with a couple of the problems that are standing in the way of the good health of the people of the United States, which by every one of those sworn oaths, the officials are required to protect. Ooh. And it's a B word, and it is with a body of non-elective government officials. B, an administrative policy-making group. Now, none of this sounds real nasty until you get into a little bit further. 2, government characterized by specialization of functions, adherence to fixed rules, and a hierarchy of authority. Oh, I see. Okay. It does not elaborate. The definition does not go into that part of that, and I quote as loosely, authority. 3, a system of administration marked by officialism, red tape, and proliferation. Now, that first thing came to my mind was that sounds exactly like the FDA and CDC to me. Well, I don't know what it sounds like to you, but Mr. Trump, Mr. President, I think you have enough of a reputation of being a bull in the china shop to act like some kind of an elephant and stomp these people into compliance. I can offer a lot of things on that, but you do have the power under all these emergencies and everything to do what you want to do in terms of getting this stuff out to the people. Quinine. The Fed has a stockpile of quinine, I suggest that President Trump can order the release. First, to medical staff, then to all patients who are critical, then to the rest of us. Ain't no big deal. Why do I say that? They did it with the polio vaccine. This may not be a vaccine, but from the studies, it works. Whether the CDC, FDA bureaucracy likes it or not. And those quoted and so-called physicians and medical personnel, you ain't cutting it, dude. Here we go. And these are things that you're going to find to be very truthful, very accurate. Slow, sly, stealthy is government ownership of we the people. How does that work? Well, okay. And this is not an offshoot. Remember, we got these $5 trillion loans and giveaways, and, well, guess what? Start with this. 90% of student debt loans to 60% of health care comes to trillions of, and you got to listen to this, our debt. That refers to we the people. However, add the huge debt of housing and another 40% is involved. Oh, good Lord, man. 40% of the housing? Yeah, that's right. And that's being nice. I heard it was higher than that. Now, here's something that everybody needs to understand. There's a big differential in government structure. Just so you know, a true government cannot place its debt on its people. But a corporation can. Think about that. United States of America Incorporated. Woo-wee. We're getting into it, yes, indeed. And I'm going to slice and dice some asses before I get done with this. Believe me, I am. What you need to do is think carefully about our present situation, and it is one hellacious situation. Bigger, more prolific, and more all-inclusive than the Great Depression. Ooh. Just about every emergency there is has been declared by the Fed and states have activated them. Can't go outside without a mask or I'll give you a fine. Well, you go to jump on me without cause and you're liable to get shot. How about that one? There's a lot of people like me out here, a big load of us, nasty people with an attitude problem about misuse and overextension of authority. Hello, dink. Hey, sheriff, turn your badge in. You're not fit for the office. Why? Because your mandate think about this carefully, dude. Your mandate of mask or fine is not only unconstitutional, it's also highly illegal. Piece of junk with a badge. It's good. And I'm in charge. Horse shit. A large number of people are frustrated. The frustration goes to people that, we still got food? Yeah, okay. They're frustrated by lack of real action, let alone any real results. There ain't any real results. What do you mean there ain't any real results? Well, it's primarily a situation where an individual can carry a small spray bottle on their person and spread the shit out of this. Think about that very carefully. It's been done before. It wouldn't be the first time. Now here's the crux. This is the critical part of the whole of society beginning to come unglued. People are running out of food. People are running out of food. And I hear that there are a lot of places where they are rationing food. Well, now I can understand rationing the toilet paper. Everybody and their mother-in-law thinks it's cool to come in and buy toilet paper when still got a blank spot where toilet paper ought to be in our local grocery. However, we thought ahead and planned ahead, and we got plenty. We're not in bad shape. Don't anyone out there, no matter how big, bad, and ferocious you might think you are, try to come take my toilet paper. Now, running out of food is one thing, but the other part of it is they have little or no money to buy any. Ooh. Now you want to get into something that's really funky? If people do not have the means to consume things that are basic necessities, critical necessities, it's going to hit the fan. When they get hungry enough, they're going to find something that kills and go out and hunt down some food. They'll smack somebody over the head in the grocery parking lot and take their, take their bags. Now, here's something this is more financial, but something everybody needs to consider, and I know everybody has noticed that oil prices went in the toilet. Well, it started out to be a simple thing of a price war between Russia and the UAE. It got worse. They pumped as much oil as anything could hold it. Now, some of the oil field workers noticed that all of the storage had been used up, and what they came up with is maybe we should go buy all the buckets we can find. Now think about that. The other thing was fill the pipelines up with crude and just let it sit there. There's some problems with both ideas, but here's the deal, and I've heard this from multiple sources, not just one, and done some checking. What happens under the conditions of rents and other bills are going unpaid? Now, in an hourglass, the sand eventually runs out. Anybody's ever played with one when they was a kid or has ever seen one, I pity that one college kid, didn't know what a can opener was or how to work it. Lord have mercy. God help us. They're going to be the new leaders. I wonder what he's going to lead. So, the printing of money goes ballistic, which will drive down money's value. Now, this is purely financial, and it's purely, kind of off the wall in some ways, but not so severe that it's gotten out of hand yet. However, first there was no travel on airlines, and they're wanting to bail out. Then there's all the small businesses. Now, does the corporate McDonald's get some kind of assistance over the people who actually own and run their own little family Mickey D's? Think about that. The printing of money goes ballistic, and I don't know if people paid attention to some of the stuff on TV with, oh, the coronavirus. Oh, what about the bailouts? Well, I'll let the man that runs the Treasury tell you about that. He said the printing presses are running 24/7. The printing presses are running 24/7. And if you drive down money's value, what happens to the rest of everything? Well, you might find that that loaf of bread gets expensive. You might find that the cost of things like gasoline or diesel fuel starts increasing instead of decreasing. Don't matter if it's $20 a barrel. Doesn't matter if gas is 60 some cents a gallon on board. It doesn't matter. Why? Well, because the currency which you use in order to make purchases or to be a consumer has a certain value. If you screw that value over, then the cost in dollars goes up. Doesn't matter if you're limited. Doesn't have shit to do with it. Nobody gives a damn, apparently. And here's another little caveat. If you look at this, the overall picture, and I've studied it out a little bit, at full capacity, that means everybody and their mother-in-law has money to spend and is buying. Our economy can't pay America's debts and deficits. Guess what? That was true before we started all this giveaway. Man, talk about being in. Cowboy's got to know how far in the toilet his hat is so he can decide whether or not to put it back on, whether or not the toilet had been flushed before his hat went in there, all them little cutesy things. And now try this. This is on an international basis. All hard-hit countries are beginning this road to financial failure. They're borrowing from anybody to loan them whatever it is they feel they got to have. And, well, I tell you, there certainly are a lot of people out there who just don't understand what the hell is going on, what the overall deal is in terms of not only what's taking place, the stuff you notice, but we might all end up living like what this song talks about. I'm going to say this very clearly. I hope everybody pays attention. It's real simple. You ain't going to have to live like a refugee, but, and but means in contrast to what I just stated, we might be going back towards the pioneer days, shoot your food, that sort of shit, raise your own veggies if you want some. It can get to that real easy. Now, I said that all hard-hit countries are beginning this road to financial failure. What does that mean? Well, that means that there are limits. We have overstepped all of our limits. Seriously, take a look. It's real simple. 2 trillion, 350 billion more. This is classified information, and it has been told to me that I am allowed to release it, and that it is declassified, think about this carefully, as I release it. This is the precursor to a new planetary government. No, it is not the New World Order. Forget that shit. That stuff, anybody who stands up and says bullshit and starts hollering NWO is the answer, is apt to be executed on the spot. Now, you think about that very carefully. This is different. Areas will employ councils. Now, when I say areas, think of Southeast Asia collectively, several countries together. Think of certain portions of the European Union that have a lot of economics and whatnot involved. And think also in terms of a council. Council is a group of people, and believe me, this is going to be the best. Areas will employ councils. Representatives from these are to form small portions of large councils. In other words, you have the Asian council, you have the Russian or whatever councils, okay? And present a world council. These world council individuals will be drawn from a group of individuals from the areas, councils, and they will form a small portion of larger councils, of which there will be individuals picked to represent or present a world council. Now, everybody thinks it's a whole lot of fun and games in terms of what we've got in the way of governmental structure. Our governmental structure, by the way, is going to be radically overhauled, radically changed. Now, this does not mean that you're going to lose any of your rights. It does not mean that things will change drastically suddenly, but the ideology of somebody disagreeing with somebody else and going to war with them, it will be over. Think about this. And is any world peace? Oh, hell no. You're going to have people, you're going to have armies coming up against each other, trying to beat the whatever out of the other guys continually for a while. Now, these are into the future. Bear that in mind, but it's coming. Has to. The needs are to be presented to the World Council and addressed according to emergency down to general needs. If somebody's hungry, that's an emergency. If somebody don't have water, that's an emergency. These kinds of things will be addressed first. Don't matter where. It don't matter who. Nobody in these councils, and I've talked to a few who are going to be representatives, are, for the first part, they don't give a shit as to who you are, where you're from, or any of that. The world language will become English. And there's going to be some people objecting to that. Oh, no. Well, what you have to understand is these are long range for our planet's entry into galactic society and open trade. Ooh, geez, did I hear that? I'll say it again. These are long range for our planet to our planet's entry into galactic society and open trade. Oh, my dear good Lord. Can you imagine? Think about it very carefully. Think about ETs wandering around the street without a problem. Why? Well, they won't do no harm, for one. Number two, most of them are friendly. And number three, we're beginning to get a little bit of a heads up into things. Now, this might seem like old news, but it ain't. This is current and ongoing. Judicial Watch sues for records of alleged illegal monitoring of Trump family and journalists. Now, that's only a beginning or the opening of something bigger. They want the documents. Alleged monitoring President Trump's family, lawyers, and journalists as ordered by U.S. Ambassador to the Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. Oh, boy. Now, here's the deal. She was a Democrat. And this gets convoluted a little bit, but it's pretty straight up the way Judicial Watch presents it. In October 2019, Judicial Watch began its investigation into the alleged monitoring of journalists and persons linked to President Trump. Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch ordered State Department entities to conduct the monitoring. The list of alleged targets: Posabite, Jack Posabite, Donald Trump Jr., Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Michael McFaul, Dan Bongino, Ryan Saavedra, Rudy Giuliani, imagine that, Sebastian Gorka, John Solomon, Lou Dobbs, Pamela Geller, Sarah Carter. And you've heard some of these names, I'm sure you have. They're pretty household. Prior to being recalled as ambassador to Ukraine in spring, Ivanovich reportedly created a list of individuals who were to be monitored via social media and other means. Now, that's only a partial list. Bear that in mind. The request was illegal, and the monitoring either ceased or was concealed via the State Department Global Engagement Center, which has looser restrictions on collecting information. This is not an obscure rule. Everyone in public diplomacy or public affairs knows they can't make lists and monitor your citizens unless there is a major national security reason. And now you know one of the Democratic agents that got into the government a little bit too far. She was recalled by the State Department in May 2019, remains a State Department employee in Washington. Now, I'm wondering, and really wondering, why she's still employed. Has she decided to obtain immunity and tell who ordered her to do so? The Justice Department failed to respond to the Freedom of Information request. They got a thing called CrowdTangle Social Media Monitoring Program, and it really, it don't let anything get past it. October 10th, 2019, Congressman David Nunes, Republican California, told Sean Hannity on his TV program, "What I've heard is that there were strange requests, irregular requests, to monitor not just one journalist, but multiple journalists." And he followed this statement, adding his multiple sources also told him they believe there is evidence that government resources were used to monitor communications of U.S. journalists, and that Yovanovitch may have been involved. No, she ordered it. They're after the proof, the documentation, not because of what she might have to offer in terms of information. But it gets better. Yovanovitch was questioned on the issue during the impeachment proceeding in the House and seemed to deny any illegal monitoring took place. Could you help us understand? I really can't answer the question because I don't know all the inner details how press section works to gather information. But they provide us with a press summary, or used to provide me, they provide the embassy with a press summary, and it goes out to other people at the Department of State as well. You want to get fun? You want to get into the fun? November 2019, the Judicial Watch filed a Freedom of Information lawsuit against the State Department seeking documents related to a reported untouchables list given in late 2016 by Yovanovitch to Ukraine Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko. Now, remember who got fired? A certain prosecutor. New York Times, Yovanovitch pressed him not to prosecute any anti-corruption activities. Oh, guess who funded it? George Soros. Now, why ain't that bitch been arrested? he gets within our territorial domain. That boy needs to go down, big time. And by big time, I mean permanent. He needs to be put away for multiple things of multiple complications with little things like called insurrection and a few others. Oh, here comes a Christmas list. This is from Washington Examiner. That last one was court report from Judicial Watch. This is Washington Examiner, April 7th through the 14th. My. Imagine that. Pelosi uses coronavirus to push tax relief for blue state millionaires. Pelosi is back trying to exploit the crisis. Salt. Pelosi wanted to undo SALT. She wanted to repeal it. What it does is it allows individuals to deduct state and local taxes from their federal taxes. This provision channeled benefits disproportionately to wealthy individuals before it was enacted. living in blue states, such as New York and California, who itemize their tax returns and have major tax burdens, eliminating the deduction allowed for other policies, such as doubling the standard deduction and the child tax credit, which benefited middle-class taxpayers. They don't want that. Democrats, in favor of a higher unlimited SALT deduction allowance, often point to the disproportionate federal funds often received by red states. Few would be so shameless as to couch the preference as a means of helping the poor. But Pelosi did. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act capped the deduction at $10,000, roughly the amount the average person pays in personal taxes, ranging from federal and state to other personal and property taxes per year overall. Now, try this one. Both conservative scholars at the American Enterprise Institute and liberals at the Center for American Progress agreed that lifting the SALT deduction cap would disproportionately benefit the wealthy, and that's not what this is about. Almost every wealthy person who has any honesty in their soul has said, go ahead, raise my taxes. That's fine. SALT deduction cap arguably hurt Republicans in the midterm elections. That's about the shift. Decided to vote for national Democrats. And hardest hit by the tax law was Orange County. Ooh, go look up and see where that is. In long term, such a cap forces individual states to rein in spending. In other words, you don't get to take it out. You don't get to extract your spending, your problematic spending habits from the federal coffers. That's made the move political bait to Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Now you know where that went. Now, I'm not going to go into a shitload of things. Coronavirus exposes Planned Parenthood's biggest lie. Well, first of all, they're nasty. Exception. Most states that exception includes Planned Parenthood. Certain businesses are exempt. They're considered critical. Now, here's the other part of it. As soon as they started it, as soon as it was stipulated that an abortion is not critical surgery, but elective, abortion activist groups quickly filed lawsuits to deny the bans from going into effect. Trouble is, they're doing it anyway. Now, some of the more centrist states have simply fallen for the false narrative that Planned Parenthood is a health care provider first and an abortion center second. That's a lie. Falsehood, yeah, okay. False narrative, the abortion giant chose to, and listen to this carefully, close many of the health centers due to concerns about the coronavirus. Nice cover. Focus its resources on abortion clinics. Oh, well, my, how healthy is that? Where does the virus come in? To ensure the health and safety of our patients, staff, and community, Planned Parenthood Keystone has temporarily closed all its health centers for family planning visits and offer abortion services only. And the end of this is simple. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Planned Parenthood cares little about preserving human life. Anybody that chops babies up or kills them after they're born or what ain't exactly cool, I'll tell you. Ooh, here's from Hugo Gordon, the editor. View through the pandemic lens. These days, the newsroom is empty and the lights are off. Instead, at a makeshift desk on the second floor of my house several miles away, my view is different. It's out over suburban backyards where spring flowers bloom and children play on swing sets. There are then some small compensations for social distancing. Excuse me, dude, I'll disagree and say, no, that ain't it. One or two people who were alive during the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, which killed 50 million people, are still with us. But none of us alive today can remember anything like what it's going through now, really. Reporters covering healthcare, energy, environment, defense, national security, foreign policy, and much more write every day about how the microscopic scourge has infiltrated every policy and political proposal of the federal government. Really? Well, now, you guys want to talk to this dude? I sent him an email, and I was pissed, and I told him that. He said he wants to know how it's going. Feedback. Email, feedback at WashingtonExaminer.com. Says, let us know how you're doing, and if you want, how we're doing. I sent that in on the 10th. Now, he states one little thing. He really hit a good one. Reform regulations. Well, are we ready to be a country of masked men and women? No. Don't show your face. You'll get a ticket. We're opening slowly, really. Well, patriotic duty of every American citizen to wear a mask? No. I'm sorry, but that don't fly either. And the reason it doesn't is these idiots such as San Francisco making it a law. Oh, you get fined. Well, you're going to have fun trying to get my ID to prove who I am so you can write the ticket. Now, here's a made by Jim Bob joke. The dude says, if we freeze the economy, we can stop the disease. And the girl says, if we drain the ocean, we can remove the trash. Oh, my. Oh, boy. They've got a picture of toilet paper. Even better than the real thing. This is artificial toilet paper. Social media becomes less antisocial. People are not jumping people's bones about everything yet. Why? They're busy with other things. That's why. And then they got one called All Hands on Deck. We'll get back to business when we get back to health. And this is by Thomas Donahue. Chamber of Commerce? No, Chamber of Horrors. Rescue package, CARES, is being revisited to add funds. Pelosi thinks it's a shopping list for Christmas. I disagree with her existence. She should have been in jail for some of her treasonous acts. Pandemic proves the wisdom of federalism. And I tend to agree with this. You got the Bill of Rights and a bunch of other things that go into this. Federalism gives us the best of both worlds. A coherent policy for the entire country that is simultaneously flexible for local exigencies. The locals get to really decide. Well, from France, how this ends, the path out of the coronavirus clampdown back to normal. Quinine plus azithromycin kills the coronavirus. Oh, we got to have a tested vaccine. Have it widely administered. It might take until the second half of 2021 or longer. How do things get back to some semblance of normal in the meantime? Not. It don't. You first got to wipe out the bug. That's first. Extreme social distancing is the only hope. Oh, my goodness. Shutdown is only a short-term approach. There's simply no way to keep the economy in hibernation without destroying even previously thriving businesses and bringing despair to tens of millions. People ain't going to put up with being hungry. They will get something that kills, be it a battle axe or a sword or hatchet or something, butcher knives. They will go and get food. Unrealistic to put everybody's lives on hold until there is zero threat from the virus. Well, how about we do it? Reduce the viral threat. A hard pause followed by a soft start. First phase, enforce social distancing. Second phase, states gradually ease restrictions. Third phase, a vaccine. Ooh. As well, most people have had the shot. Most forecasts assume that the number of cases will peak by late April. Well, they're beginning to peak in a lot of places all of a sudden. This is the planning for gradual reopening. Also, there will have to be testing of vaccines. Oh, we're going to wait until 21? Well, you guys out of your mind? How many people are dying in the meantime? Manufacture, administer a successful and rapidly across the population once one is proven to work. Hello, quinine works, you dinks. South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong have in common is the widespread wearing of masks. And the World Health Organization at first poo-pooed, no, you don't got to wear. Masks don't do nothing for you. Well, it doesn't limit things to the extent that everybody might like, but you were absolutely blatantly mistaken, and everybody's calling you on it. Here's the gist. Actually, your negativism in terms of your application to the United States is now questioning whether or not we ought to fund you any further. And I agree. I love this. They got a picture here of a lady coming up out of a bunker, right? It looks like a round thing in the ground. It's got a round lid that's up. And she's just smiling, free at last. The only trouble is that is a nuclear bunker. Oops. Fighting with one hand tied behind our backs. And it says the deregulation that will ensure we're prepared ahead of time for the next crisis. Well, deregulate the FDA and CDC by stomping them out of existence. That's what it takes, Mr. President. Go ahead. There'd be a lot of people like to see all of this crap end. And they're just dragging their feet because they want to be in charge. Part of a bureaucracy. Washington and the state governments have taken the rare step of unveiling burdensome regulations. Well, regulatory reforms. Doctors work easily across state lines, enabling hospitals to add more beds. Simple shit. Half the states. Advanced practice registered nurses are legally required to be overseen by a doctor to prescribe medication. Bullshit. I found some of them got their head screwed on better than the doctors that oversee them. Florida bans nurses' scope of practice. Pharmacists can help. Can fill basic existing prescription without a doctor approval in majority of states. Improving access to medications such as hormone contraception, smoking cessation products, and drugs for common ailments such as cold sores and eczema, when pharmacists can prescribe them. Let's cut some red tape. Let's stomp out a bureaucracy that obviously has not done anybody any good. Oh, and there's going to be a lot of people playing games. Well, let's get to the games. People don't realize that this is the Olympics on steroids. In just 2 weeks, Congress drafted and enacted one of the most expensive bills in American history with a $2 trillion price tag. Policies needed to prevent a short-term economic crisis from becoming a long-term depression. You're too late. You got to kill the virus, first of all, right off the top. Oh, boy, a desolate Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, March 20th, the day after a statewide stay-home order. It's a ghost town. Remember I mentioned that last time? Whole neighborhoods have been have evacuated themselves to, let's call it higher ground and a lot less infectious environment. The issue is whether or not partisan politics will derail any agreement. Well, here's a witch, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, outlining her Christmas list. Lawmakers face partisan battle over the next phase of coronavirus aid. Not much confidence exists that the parties will agree on anything substantive related. Oh, boy. You realize what that says? That says you're not going to get that extra $350 billion that you need. The Freedom Caucus. Everybody wants to pile on the Kentucky Republican in the House quelled masses insurrection quickly. He tried to get things to work the way they should. According to him, Freedom Caucus. Brought them to heel. Largest transfer of wealth in human history. No, not really. More than 10 million people, filed for unemployment benefits in March. 6.6 million fired final week of the month. Thomas Massey is the real voice of sanity in Washington. When future generations look back and wonder why no one questioned the largest transfer of wealth from low middle class Americans to rich corporations. Remember, it's our debt and special interests. They will see that one man, Thomas Massey, stood firm and objected. We wish the boy had more clout. And they abandoned some other things. The 208 bank bailout was criticized by the same man. For Nancy Pelosi and House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, this was all about avoiding accountability. The president tweeted that Massey should be tossed out of the party. Trump's handling of coronavirus is literally the only thing that matters for his reelection, and he's doing a good job of it. The only problem is he needs to absolutely order, executive order, military force, gun barrel up the nose, or however you get it done, need to get that quinine out there. We're unleashing every tool in our nation's vast arsenal, economic, medical, Trump said at a Rose Garden briefing last month. If you look, medical and scientific, military, he'll need it too. Oh my, the lucky few winners and the many losers of the coronavirus business lockdown. IT companies are growing while entertainment-based businesses have been hit hard by the pandemic. And on the Food Channel, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives is soliciting contributions to help these people, and I don't blame them. Coronavirus phone tracking raises red flags. Yeah, they're looking at making your phone tell where you're at. I wonder if that's going to be the voluntary program that they're suggesting or something else. Now, I run across a military thing I really like. New Marine Commandant is implementing a radical makeover to confront China. No, it's not just China. It's everybody. We're going to change the Marine Corps back to an orientation of the amphibious landing forces that they started out to be. And General David Berger is the man to do it. If we don't make some very fundamental changes, we're going to get left in the dust. And we can't, you have to be able to at least fight back. And we're at a point where we're going to have trouble doing that. The de facto Second Army, configured for land warfare, weighted down with M1 Abrams tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, and towed artillery. Think about that. Oh, boy. Ask a Navy SEAL how heavy this shit is that they pull around. Heavy ground armor capability will continue to be provided by the U.S. Army. That means we're going to be we're going to have specialists in the Army working directly with the Marine Corps. Love it. WEZ, or Weapons Engagement Zone, the battle space within range of an adversary's air, missile, and naval forces. That requires shedding quite a few of the old legacy weapons. And you've got to think about towing an Abrams tank around or getting it to where you need to have it. I mean, them things ain't light, believe it or not. And so I commend the man. Now, I love this. Many exercising the Second Amendment rights. Most pew, whatever that is, some of the top prepper advisors who rightly counsel people in the early days of the coronavirus crisis to hoard toilet paper and fuel are now urging the practice of defensive guns. And what I like about this, basically, is the picture. It's got some shelves loaded with toilet paper, and there's a gun sitting there. I will defend to the death my toilet paper. Most of the customers we're seeing are new gun buying. So there's one bright spot during this crisis. It's seeing people exercise their Second Amendment rights for the first time. Be careful with what you do. Drones could reduce the spread of infections due to fewer people handling packages. No. Revisit this later, and you'll see what the differential will be. More. Don't put Uncle Sam in corporate boardrooms. Nothing worse than the government bailing out private industries. Well, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help them. Watch everybody run. Corporate welfare, giveaways. When an industry gets in financial trouble because of poor business practices, the owner, shareholders, and executives should bear the cost, not taxpayers. That's nationalization of businesses, and it's a very big no-no with everybody I know, just about. And I don't know everybody. I know some. White working class blues. They take an OD of some kind of nasty drug, and Dreamland, the book on opiate crisis, raised the alarm that many middle-aged, non-college educated white people had lost the will to live. Well, you forgot to go to the black neighborhoods and check that out. You want to see some nasty psychology, go do that. Either committing suicide directly with guns or by hanging or indirectly through alcohol and opiate addiction. Think about that. It's real. That isn't pie-in-the-sky bullshit or my strict opinion. What I'm going to do is give what I see as the essence of an ambitious yuppie from hell. Guess who that is? Hillary Rodham Clinton. Imagine that. Oh, my goodness. Gurdon. Oh, boy. Now, this is the editor. Tiger King and the Corona culture. It's a convoluted plot that thickens. That's all it's worth. It's not worth much. The dullness of life today is a measure of how rich and varied it used to be eons ago in February. Irony. Profound irony, which is that we were more atomized before social distancing began than we are now. We're all holed up and separated from each other, but we're all also experiencing the same things during the same frustrations. You know, like scraping the kids off the ceiling when they can't stand it no more. It should be familiar to everyone. Trump is right to want to get the economy started again. Absolutely true. Start opening. All you got to do is kill the virus, and that's easily done. A bad economy makes life harder for the incumbent party. That's not all. It makes life harder for the American people. Now, that's where how many restaurant people are out of work? I mean, you know, never forget this wretched moment. This is Hannon. Shall I tell you the worst thing? I suspect that people are going to look back years from now with nostalgia. We're actually going to miss, or at least imagine that we missed the horrors we're going through now. What is it? Well, think about, are you perhaps reading these words cooped up in a small apartment with frazzled children? Oh, you didn't know they were that crazy. Are you desperate for shops to reopen? Are you badly in need of a haircut? Almost all of us are in at least one or two of these categories. Well, it's very simple. We elevate the collective above the individual. Sure we don't. Shutdowns, bans, and persecution of dissidents became popular. People crave the smack of firm government. Newspapers were demanding a lockdown. Oh, a ghastly term borrowed from prison. Long before ministers imposed one, missed the feeling of simplicity and collective endeavor, the conflict endangered the way neighbors ceased to be strangers. Oh, boy, and became part of the extended family, the way everyone knew what needed to be done. Crisis of this kind bring us closer to our hunter-gatherer nature than anything we normally experience in affluent Western society. You got a problem with that, and that is that it is, to an extent, permanent. We have lost something in the neighborhood of 30% at this point. By next week, It'll go up another 10%. More than 10 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits. In March, it is increasingly clear just how seriously Americans are facing abrupt, devastating personal consequences due to our prudent and necessary social distancing measures. No, I'll tell you what, that's horseshit. Excuse me. You want to get serious? Put quinine out. Big time for everybody. Contrast between China and its neighbors shows communist regime's true character. There's no greater contrast between how countries have treated the COVID-19 pandemic than that between nations on both sides of what might be called the Asian Iron Curtain. On one side, the People's Republic of China, where the novel coronavirus apparently transferred from animal to human hosts. There, the government deliberately lied about human-to-human transmission, a bunch of other shit. On the other side of this Iron Curtain, actually a virtual barrier penetrated until the virus appeared by dozens of airline flights every day, are places which seem to have responded most successfully to the pandemic. Taiwan, South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong. What did they do different? Carney, unemployment insurance is not good enough. We should be backstopping every business's payroll. And I wrote, we are. The President Cuomo fantasy. How nervous are some Democrats about Joe Biden's chances against Trump this November? Nervous enough to entertain the notion that another Democrat, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, might swoop in and save the day. Not and can't. Why? They already held primaries. 30 of them. And you're done. If you didn't get in there, you're done. Tell the 10 million people who voted for Biden, never mind, Governor Cuomo will be our candidate now. Or someone tell the 7 million plus who voted for Sanders, sorry, Biden won't be the candidate, but neither will the second place finisher. Politics and all its grievous forms jumps out off the page and says, hey, bitch, give you one of them smacks upside the head. You remember them smacks upside the head? Anybody who says different is a liar. Don't you remember? Mom would look down at the kid and say, I thought I told you not to do that. You did. Well, what do you think you're doing? Well, I was just thump. Ends the conversation right quick, gets everything packed to where it's supposed to be. Well, guess what? There are things that are coming up that are not cool. And one of those is stipulated in the song I'm going to play. It's by Grand Funk Railroad. And listen to what it says. It's important that you pick up on the psychology and the inference of the words, and now we get into some other things that I have mentioned. First of all, we're going to go through some fun and games with the Democrats. Not liberal enough. Making the case. They're not making the case. I agree. This is letters to the editor, and it's from the Nation. And let's see here. April 13th is an old one, but it's relative. Dems way only is what I put up there. Making the case. No. I agree with Ellie Mistel on the capture of the Supreme Court by conservatives. Ooh, a full-scale heist. Roberts 5 gave victories to big Republican donor interests. Really? Five-4 decisions should happen rarely. Partisan 5-4 decisions, more rarely still. 80 of them is a lot, and a score of 80 to nothing is hardly calling balls and strikes. Ethics reform. Well, how about legal reform? How about comply to the law, you pieces of anyway? Who's funding them? Selecting judges. Confirmation disclose their donors. Oh my goodness, structural reform. Now, here's the fun, and it starts. This should apply to liberals, Democrats, and other socialists, disclosing their own big donors. That is a recipe for scandal and disgrace. No court should be so mired in secret influence, really. Make this apply to liberals, too. Though I am totally blind and have not been sleeping well, thanks to the news about the virus, I listened to the Nation issue, and I downloaded it from the National Library Services website. An 18-year term limit might be a good one. If term limits are good enough for the president, they should be good enough for everyone else, including, and here you go, the House and Senate. That's right. Oh, boy. Here's the next one. Oh, big one here. Just a bailout. By end of April. 2 to 3 weeks wait. You get to wait until next week to even know if you might get some money. The hungry will take action before getting the bailout. The bailouts are coming, they say. Well, according to the banks, they don't feel like they got to loan nobody nothing. Think about that very carefully. It's not their money, but they are in charge. CNN, South Korea testing about 10K per day. Korea fights the 19. Yeah, right. South Korea has been on average, blah, blah, blah. One of these days I'll learn to talk. It'd be fun. Average testing 12,000 patients a day, about as many as U.S. has managed to test over the last 2 weeks. The Los Angeles Times reported March 14th, by that time, the government of President Moon tested 261,000 people. Is that all? Then you got the drive-through testing was quick, creative, innovative, free, and protective for all. There's a problem with all this. Liquor stores are considered vital services? Well, now, hold on a minute. You can't go in the liquor store, so that means you got to have a drive-through. What's your insurance company going to say about that shit? Oh, boy. Here's a woman who doesn't have any common sense. Against the vice cop of the mind. Well, how about this one? Both of you are guilty. Woody Allen, you remember his fun and games? Child molester, a pervert. Well, guess what? Victims' rights. Validate their censors' reflex. Oh, really? Soothing language of commitment. Oh, we fear the crowd. The crowd has power. Our U.S. revenues dropped in 2019, so we chose the power side over the pervert. Ooh. Free speech for me, but not for thee? Well, fine. He can free speech all he wants. I bet the book don't sell worse shit. And now we got a claim to puritanical interests. Ooh, funky monkeys. ACL, you didn't respond, Writers Guild, PEN America, left Allen twisting in the wind, just like they should have. He shouldn't be allowed to do this stuff. No art or literature can flourish if it is to be measured by the political views or private lives of its creators. Horseshit. No society of free people can flourish that draws up lists of writers to whom it will not listen, whatever they may have to say. That's a lie. I don't want to hear how the details of pervert plying their trade. I like this. Now, Ellie Mistel has not been one of my favorites, but she raises a question here that really, really hits home. The coronavirus will test whether we have learned to protect rights during an emergency. Sorry, they are suspended. Exchange fundamental rights for security. You've heard what people have had to say about that. Anybody that exchanges rights for security deserves neither. I think it was a little fat man that signed I keep thinking Bill of Rights, but he signed that. He signed that before he got to the point of signing the Constitution. Suspend habeas corpus for the people detained at Guantanamo Bay. Excuse me, but I ain't turning convicts like that loose. Those people deserve to die of starvation while locked up at the least. Rights and liberties are extremely hard to claw back. Establishment of warrantless surveillance under Section 215 of the Patriot Act. Wow, then we got warrantless invasions of houses. We don't need no damn warrant. Good, I got a 12-gauge duck. Due to expire March 15th this year, but because of the coronavirus, they got to wait. Oh, boy. Congress agreed to extend the provisions for a few months while the Senate works to pass the freshly titled USA Freedom Reauthorization Act of 2020. If passed, it will continue the kind of warrantless surveillance and data collection that Congress initially sanctioned as an emergency reaction to 9/11. What a crock of shit. And 9/11 was approved by those in power. Bear that in mind. And not just here. The ones that run things internationally keep us safe. I'm not going to lie. I would absolutely sacrifice some liberty to keep my family safe from the virus. No deal. As we settle into our long-term emergency response to the pandemic, we have to be vigilant about protecting our rights. You got that right. After 9/11, the deepest threat to our liberties might not be the suspension of some of our public rights, but rather the enhancement of state surveillance of our private lives. Documents, they've been leaked. Customs and Border Protection Agency has an emergency plan in place that would allow the government to indefinitely track and even detain people re-entering the country from abroad. That's not a bad idea, actually. If this power is ever exercised, it would probably never be stuffed back into Pandora's box. Want to bet? We, the people, are at the break point. If things are not put back together correctly and quickly, there's going to be people taking groceries from people in the parking lots. Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Christopher Wray and Lucifer 2.0 probably already know too much about my damned life. Well said, well written. I love it. All right. Sunset provisions. Any measure, and this is something that we need to put into place, sunset provisions. Any measure we enact or require as part of our coronavirus response must come with a mandatory provision stating that the law will lapse after a fixed period. No extensions, no authorizations, and no subjective determination of when the emergency has passed. Technology from old Mission Impossible television show. This app, if you choose to accept it, will self-destruct in 2 weeks. She got my 2 weeks. Imagine that. I don't see this as going away quickly, easily, or Wisconsinites know what it will take. Will Democrats listen? How to win in Wisconsin? No, they won't listen. Sometimes I just shake my head. I mean, have you ever been to Eau Claire? Yes, I have. How about that shit? Smart ass. Progressive champion Senator Tammy Baldwin is celebrating her 2018 re-election victory in Madison, Wisconsin. Well, that's cool. Now, here's the problem. Socialist unions, union busting in the name of God. Well, there's a problem with God. Where in the hell is he at? With all these people that don't deserve to die, dying and suffering. Boston College no longer has a legal obligation to recognize and bargain with our union. But they got a moral obligation to do so? No, your morality is socialist. Ooh. And everybody and their mother-in-law is exercising exemptions. From hero to house arrest, lawyer Stephen Donziger helped win a $9.5 billion judgment for rainforest cleanup. Now Chevron wants revenge. Now try this. You ain't got no rights when big boys with lots of money put it to somebody. Fighting contempt charges. Yeah, really? Ain't nothing from just Chevron. Chevron's the one they went after. Whether Chevron or any other oil company, the lawyer advocating for that case is personally attacked. Who else is going to fight these kinds of cases? Really? Mainstream press has largely ignored it. Illegal attacks against Donziger, but Chevron's counteroffensive could endanger human rights and environmental work around the world. Do you want that? If not, you might want to get on the bandwagon of this because this is serious. When the prosecutor declined, Kaplan approved private attorneys to prosecute Donziger. Ooh, a nearly unprecedented step by a federal judge. The federal judge, having to judge Lewis Kaplan, and the boy is dirty. I don't know how much he got paid to do what he did, but he got paid for it, has said, Donziger, oh boy, 21st floor in New York City, my, has said the pollution case in Ecuador was not a bona fide litigation and dismissed the Lago Agrio residents as so-called plaintiffs. How about we dismiss him? Do you think shooting at him would probably get the message across? They spent months detained in a small apartment, not because he did anything wrong, but because we were successful and did a lot of things right, facing the loss of one's liberty, not because one committed a crime, but because of something dark and unaccountable in the system is terrifying. Calls into question most everything I believe about our country and my role in it. It goes on and on. I'm not going to read a shitload of this, but the collective body. Russia experiments in life after death. BS. Future immortality. None. Nobody lives forever. Nothing lasts forever except the earth and sky. Then we got one in the back. This is under the books and arts. Who gets to save the world? Margaret Atwood's dystopian imagination. Who gets to save the world? No one. Why? Well, the horse is out to pasture, and the suit of armor, the knight's shining armor is sitting in the corner rusting. Now I'm gonna get to one of the better ones. This is April 10th. It's old, but this man's beginning to make news. He was on several newscasts, different types, different places. France, the maverick behind the chloroquine craze. Oh, somebody's trying to call me. That's intelligent. Anyway, here's how it is. Antimalarial drug, hydroxychloroquine, and he added an antibiotic, azithromycin, and it works. These people who were having trouble just breathing, all of a sudden perk right up. He's not attending meetings. I'm too busy to spend 2 hours listening to the BS, he says. I agree. Now, he is one of the top. He's considered a genius with a talent for self-promotion, which is fine. I don't care about that shit. What I care about is that he is one of the top researchers. Oh, boy. Some online cranks insist his breakthrough is being suppressed because chloroquine is a cheap, established drug, and so Big Pharma can't profit from it. Now, think about that very carefully. President Trump, I'll stipulate this again, you need to jump these people's bones the hard way about this horse shit. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm having a hell of a good time trying to expose these dummies that think that they're in charge of everything. Now, I'm suspicious of the government. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. It's very, very simple, actually. And it is very simple. We, the people, collectively, everybody hears this, needs to call Washington, D.C. and demand quinine. Doesn't matter what form it comes in. Tonic water works. Here's the thing. Standing together when everybody decides that enough is enough and they don't want to play hide in the closet anymore or have a lot of fun with kids that don't have any limitations hardly because they are brain damaged. All kids are, by the way. I told you not to do that. Why are you doing it? I don't know. Thump. I mean, it's real simple. Hey, you do it again, and you start to puddle. You do that, and I will give you something to cry about. And you will end up spending the rest of my shopping tour here in the trunk of the car. I'm not going to put you in the back seat. I'm not going to be nice. I'm going to roast your brains out in the trunk of the car, you nasty little pervert. I know you're not my kid. You couldn't be. Things of that nature. Yeah. Okay. So we have a bunch of bureaucrats who think it's funny for people to die. You heard me right. I didn't, and he's retracting that, slowing anything down or backing up on it. Maybe we could put a definitive date on it, release the stuff that works now, or everybody that dies becomes a manslaughter charge for everybody at the CDC and FDA. Think about it. Do you believe that if you did them a Godfather deal like that all of a sudden we would have cures? Do you really? I mean, let's get real. Think about it. It is not difficult to understand the difference between horse hockey and other critters. It is not difficult to understand what should be done. What should be done? Well, I'm going to stipulate this very clearly. Each and every last person who has anything going on upstairs needs to put their personal needs aside so that they can acquire them. Ooh, double speak. Okay, how about this? You need to organize as a group. Well, what would it take to put you in a position of maybe leading a group that would visit someplace that has the things that you need, like food and that sort of deal? Think about what it would be like to be able to have some say over it. It's not difficult to get the idea across in terms of getting yourself together, okay? And by getting you together, this is what I'm trying to say. Anybody who organizes and are of similar mindset. What's the mindset? Well, there's distribution centers you might need to go and take some provisions from. There may be places that you might want to offer armed escort for people. Little old ladies that can't defend themselves against a bag grabber. Think about it. Tons of things that go into this. Well, here's what we need to do. If we stand together, we can do several things. One of these is to insist on the releasement of things that are known to work. Yeah, that's right, CDC. Your lie has been discovered. That's right, FDA. Forget the approval. It was approved back in the 50s. Hello? Or it may or may not do anything with it. Yeah, it will. It attacks the whole family of it. If we stand together in this, there's several things that will come about. Oh, you might get a check coming up. That's not the question. Doesn't matter. Whoa, really? You ain't out of money to get food. That's right, I'm not. But for all the people who are running low on cash, here's the situation. They're going to have to open back up. Shortly after these checks come out, they're going to have to open back up. They don't have a choice. Why? Everybody needs that paycheck. That's why. You need a paycheck in order to pay bills and all this other thing. I'll say it again. I live in Manhattan. This is a quote from the show. At the moment, it feels like a tea kettle in which the water is starting to make rumbling noises. I have heard from a bunch of people that they are organizing, getting ready to go out and take what they need. You're going to close everything down and cut us off? Well, we'll use live ammunition and get what we need in spite of your horse hockey. Now, here's the thing. Not that many cops are prepared for armor-piercing bullets. Be aware, a lot of the people that I'm talking about have such things. Ooh, oh, that's illegal. You can't even possess. Really? Got X-ray vision so you can see inside and tell what's going on? I don't think so. The deal is this. If we stand together, we will be invincible. I offer that if you really want to get into this, we can. Now, try this one. Okay, well, now I'm going to the show site on our private group. It stipulates the definition is simple. What will a hungry person do to eat? Those checks are still 2 weeks away. Who can wait? Huh? What do we got here? Will we see Cindy asked if we will see a civil war starting, and my answer was, could be. Keep watching. You got to keep your ear to the ground on this stuff because there may be a lot of people who are thinking exactly that thing. Announce a cure this week or everything will start coming unglued. Oh, exactly what the evil ones want. Yeah, Karen. Only problem is the evil ones will be the first target. Ooh-wee. I don't know. Who might shoot them, I wonder. The cure has been known. Its approval for use has been previously made. However, the deep state elements, the FDA and CDC, which I covered, the bureaucracy, including their cheerleaders, Fossey and Burke, have hijacked the narrative. And new testing is to turn off 5G. That's the cure. That's one part of it, Nellie. Everybody should understand that people are going around burning down 5G towers, cutting them off at the I mean, there's a lot of things can be done. Keep waiting. Bills don't wait. On the money. That's right. Well, guess what? As I stipulated, too little, too late. Now, my suggestion is when you get that check, buy dry goods, rice, beans, and something for flavor. Literally, okay? There's a lot of people in with what? Oh, well, now, if people don't have the means, they will figure out a way to get it, Pam. With what? Well, irrespective. Hunger rules. FBI arrests the coronavirus creator. Yep, they did. Can't listen to Drake's show. Did they? It? No. What? Whoa, it's jumping around. Doesn't play till Saturday. Hello. Now I had to add the date. Next time I post a show, I will add the date. That way you can look it up for yourself and understand the differences between that. Janice. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Patel. I thought you live in West Virginia. Where do you get the money to man? And I didn't. Dang, it's a quote from a magazine article from a writer, okay? I don't think this is Drake. I couldn't get into his show. Oh, boy, here's a former. It is posted for this coming Saturday. Thank you, Joe. Ain't no way I'm giving up on my location, and this is me. And, yes, I quoted someone else. Sounds fair, completely understandable. I live in the woods far enough that cell phones don't work up here. You got to use radios, and if you don't have the right radio equipment, you're screwed in terms of communication. There's a lot of short amateur radio, shortwave, and that sort of thing. Let's see. Trump's update, I ignore the experts. Remember, experts sunk the Titanic, but Trump seems to have a positive outlook on his recommendation. Experts didn't look too happy. I'll go with Trump having a cure. Well, guess what? Let's do this, Joe. How about we stipulate that everybody that hears this show, send letters, emails, or whatever you can think of, and bombard the crap out of the White House and any kind of other official federal agent. You can, World Health Organization, tell them to go home and stay there. FDA, CDC, hey, mind your manners and turn the cure loose. Quit playing with people's lives. Anyway, choose the Titanic this year. I feel sorry for all of you. That ship never makes it the iceberg. Never makes it the iceberg, remember? Oh, yeah. And or feed the babies? Yeah, we need to feed the babies. Okay. 2 weeks. Somebody put 2 weeks. Steve did that. Steve, now. I lost contact. Love your deep understanding, Pamela. Ignore the ones who don't understand. I do. Thank you. I have plenty of food. Love it. Love you and your wife. A rainbow dragon takes no prisoners. Yeah, well, I'm a dragon, all right. If Trump doesn't throw a big wad of blank at the fan soon, people are probably going to lose it and start rioting. No, it's not going to be a riot situation. That's what I'm trying to say, Fanes. It's very simple, less complex than that. It's more like you're going to have organized people running around taking what they need. Oh, my goodness, and Jason put up a distillery. Ooh, I got friends down there, got them. And they're not the little bitty one like the one you see. These are much larger. Think about the movie Lawless if you get the picture. Does not take action, it will be an opportunity lost. This is true. If we're draining the swamp, well, you can start draining the swamp. The president can start draining the swamp by stomping out the FDA and the CDC and the ridiculous idea that they are the bureaucracy and in charge of everything. They're not. The only can to delay the release of, quinine, right? Exactly, landslip. Am I on Gab? Yes, I'm on Gab. If I can remember my handle, I'll go back to there and put it up to you, Bob. Ron, go after the cabal heads. Well, endless minions. Not happening. Well, guess what, Ron? The cabal is being shredded as we speak, big time. They're not going to come out real publicly about any of it until such time as 90% of it there or thereabouts is over. Right now, we're running about 50%, give or take. Dale, intermittent. Fast is good for the immune system. Yeah, There's a bunch of other things. Vaccines or chemtrails or our food. Where do we get the parasites and pathogenic bacteria from? I guess vaccines or chemtrails or our food. No, it was easier than that. What does everybody have in common that they always use? Think about it. It's called H2O. Came from all three. Well, Pam, you're, close, but no cigar. 2 more replies. Done on purpose, too. Absolutely. This pandemic is exactly what they needed for cover for varying things. You'll see how it comes out. Certain people say on another internet show that we are our own gods. What do you say about it? You can be, but most have no clue or idea. Those that believe are excited about what is to come. Yep. Coronavirus patient believes his life was saved by taking drugs he heard about. Think tonic water. Australia is pretty much shut down too. Are our swamp also being dealt with at the same time? It has to be. You can't take out part of it, and you can't cut a tumor in half and expect it not to grow. Real simple. This tumor is going to be eradicated. And yeah, FBI arrest Corona's creator. That needed to be posted. Is there going to be another show? Gail, you need to answer that. I've been asking her, like I commented. We'll see what, Boop, Clunk, 2 more replies. Message you last week why you couldn't or wouldn't not do a show. She said you were too tired and exhausted to do it. Bullshit. I'm ready to go anytime she can stand it. A lot of talk going around about these pending relief checks. Can you address what will we be signing into if we accept the checks, and or how best to do this to avoid recreating slave status? Yeah, very simple, Karen. There aren't any strings to it. It's a straight-up gift from the federal government. Where are the indictments? Well, James, I wish that the indictments, I've heard they've been being exercised on the QT. Now, James, I don't know how true that is. I'm checking on it as we go. I'm going to take over the fake media and take down the stupids in Congress. Well, that's coming. That goes along with the indictments. First, you got to get their enablers and handlers. Then you can go after the dinks that are playing treasonous games. Now, would it be great to deliver care package? It is, yes. There's a lot of some countries aren't getting drinking water or food. Well, where's ETs already? They're letting this play out to an extent for the simple fact that the timing has to go along with the timeline involved in that. Galactic Planet Side updates, please. No, Jonathan, not on this show. I'll do that. I would rather do that on Gail's show. And it's a situation where we're looking at ET putting my finishing touches on getting ready to come. Arrest updates? No. You're fooling with sensitive stuff, Jonathan. What about the 3 days of darkness followed by 3 days of exposures? Well, no, it's not a question of 3 days of exposures. 3 days of darkness are to cut communication between the bad guys so that they can pick them up. You'll get a list. From what I understand, there's supposed to be an exposure of list of who was arrested. Going to release a coronavirus cure anytime soon. They've already got one. They need to. The federal government has a stockpile. So if it don't work, why in the hell they got a stockpile? Be punished in some way for their abject failure or yes, Jonathan. They're talking about cutting our 25% contribution to their existence. Will the CDC be punished in the same way for their abject failure? No, it's going to be a little different. The difference is going to be that the FDA and CDC will be revamped, overhauled, maybe given a lobotomy. We'll see. Basically, they're going to be returned to a scientific aspect, period. Now, you want to take it to the next step further? We go into the part where certain people not only will be removed, but also jailed. You don't need to read to us. Really? ET updates. Well, I'll give you ET updates. ET is scrambling like a mother upstairs. They're loading our hollow moon with supplies and things that we're going to need. So, we'll see how this goes. 4 more replies, huh? He doesn't read on Gail's show. Not sure what you meant. Well, I read on my show, but only certain parts. I redline things. And what it comes out to is what the gist of or whatever is. Question and answer format of the show. Well, we would like to hear some positive news. I'll give you some positive news. This is just about over, one way or the other. Be punished? Yeah, the docs that have played the game, they're going to be punished, Jonathan. Already, my daughter has received her 1,200 already. Oh, well, that's cool. Hardly worked last year, and got her a small tax refund as well 2 weeks ago. Well, that's neat. That means that the checks are coming very slowly, but they're coming. Why can't you go pick these bad actors up and take off planet like you said you? Well, that's not up to me anymore. The ET said no, we don't want to do that. So we'll see how this goes. They may want to do it. Can you imagine some big ugly sci-fi looking critter retching through the wall of your house and snatching you up? You talk about freaking out in dirty underwear. Can likely handle the truth. Well, the truth is that we are in a shit bowl, and we got people stirring things that shouldn't have that ability to avoid undue harm to the people. They do, but they're not going to stand around and get shot either. Release the cure. I agree. Do no harm. Well, it's harmful not to have the cure out there. So we don't put a bunch of snowflake jerks in a rubber room. Well, no, I wouldn't put them in a rubber room. I'd take them out to a little deserted atoll out in the Pacific Ocean and drop them all off and let them see who comes out on top. Will China be punished in some way for their abject failure over the coronavirus? Not exactly, but seeing how you asked, Jonathan, that's a very good deal. What's been happening is that each and every last one of the major supply chains, as they might be called, are being pulled out of China to include just about everything you can think of. Major companies are leaving China. Now, you think about that very carefully. You want to see failures? Well, China is not going to be near what it was because it's being hollowed out. So the fun is beginning. President been compromised? No. One of the three amigos. Oh, Lord have mercy. Denise, quit it. He's a Nazi. Yeah, among other things. Seems amazing that on this show you sound optimistic and things happening soon. I am. I'm ready to do the show anytime. I've been telling her, let's go. Saturday shows you everybody goes hungry in 2 weeks. Well, it gets worse. It's less than 2 weeks. Some people are already beginning to go hungry. And that's going to be serious. They will get something that kills and go out and get food. Guarantee you. It's been a couple of weeks since the last show. Much has changed since then. Not as much as you might think, and not in a critical manner anyway. These councils you speak of, will any one single nation have their own vote? No. What you're going to have is areas that are in need of X, whatever that may be. And the stipulation will be the greatest emergency first, as I said. Somebody that has a really serious problem, like no food or water or something of that nature, gets hit first. People are even going to be consulted about these government changes. It'll be advertised after it's generally set up. There will be a discussion period, from what I understand. It's going to be very limited, though. You only get about a week or two. And you're going to have, if you want to even have a choice or get to put our own 2 cents, it feels very unjust and totalitarian. Well, it is in a way, Jonathan. And the reason for that is that we're going to have a combination situation. It's complex, but there are going to be, as such, what would be considered semi-military people running around taking care of things. Army Corps of Engineers is one example, although they're not the greatest. These will be partnered with some of the very best there are in the field that they're endeavoring to address, wherever it may be. So, bear that in mind. Let's see here. USA will be the capital leaders of Earth. How will that happen if every nation is diluted into regional councils. Well, because this is going to be the place where the councils hand over their wants and needs and whatnot to ETs so that the ETs can apply their advanced technology to our problems. Oh, glorious sister of the UN, and should we be willing to give up our national sovereignty? It's another new one. No, the UN goes in the toilet along with the World Health Organization because they're not interested in health. Shocked to hear a constitutional defender being okay with this. I'm not, as such, fully okay with it. I have not seen the total setup yet. Now, when I get it, I will post it here on this page. Bear that in mind, and, keep an open mind. To be clear, I'm simply developed a healthy distrust in multinational governmental organizations. That's the thing. It's not multinational government organization. This is very different from that. Is Grammy J all right? Yeah, she's fine. I hear from her once in a while. I'll probably call her tonight sometime just for the fun of it. What about our military and militaries around the world? Are they going to merge? Yes, there's no choice in that. It will be for the betterment of everybody. Oh, my goodness. Think in terms of a deal where you go out and help everybody, whatever that may be. Let's see here, what we got. A doctor is, what the hell? Who will be in charge? A group of people. I said councils. Think in terms of groups of people. Okay? Doctor says saying that certain zinc can fight them. It does. Quinine is quinine's one, zinc's another. Dandelion, host defense. There's a whole plethora of them. Copper, you name it. Like a modern big pharma version of quinine. No, it is free form, independent. A lot of little companies making it. Quinine is basically what it is. A Trump with the War Castle Postal Service. No. That's not something that's valid. Check it out. You'll see what I mean. Underground cleanup update, or the children you take on planet? Yeah, not repair, healing homage. Aren't they helping us yet? Well, we're on the list, but the kids come first. No, Wilcox was not killed and replaced by a clone. Or we get from 50 to 90% so we can be told. Reach 90% show the 8 hours over 3 days. Yeah. We're closer to what we need to be, to where we need to be than anybody knows right now. Experiencing interference on call. Yeah, you're going to experience it. They shut me off a couple of times last week. Devin, thanks for a good show. You're welcome. Why don't they just distribute the quinine? I have sent a message directly to President Trump asking that very question. They should make that stuff as, I don't know what you'd call it, make it go viral. Oh, that's terrible, but there it is. You know what the outcome of the mass meditation was? Yeah. We lifted things. We lifted things in a tremendous way, in a tremendous amount, covering a huge area, not just our solar system, but others as well. So, anyway, everybody go out there and do my main thing.